I love Ultimate Spider-Man, but Volume 3 is starting to worry me. Volume 1 was the origin of Spider-Man. Volume 2 was getting into kind of a rhythm of things. Volume 3 is our first chance to show the consequences of actions and payoff build-up we've been doing this entire time. Volume 2 set the standard, set the kind of status quo, now we're breaking it. Both volumes were slow and at times kind of made questionable pacing choices. Like, did Jonah and Ben really need an entire issue dedicated just for the two of them? Probably not. Gale had a lot of time dedicated to her during issue 12. You don't know where it's gonna go. Gale is wiggling her way back into the Parker family, and that could be a thing. Maybe she's working for the Maker, or maybe she's working for the Mysterious, or maybe she's connected to something, or something's going on there. You don't know where it's going. Maybe there's an emotional catharsis somehow that relates to everything. I don't know where it's going. This could be absolutely worth it by the end. Ultimate Spider-Man is fun, and I enjoy it, but it is largely relying on a promise of a payoff. I'm expecting Gale's relationship with MJ to matter in the end. I enjoy the book, but it must pay off. And Volume 3 is kind of a midpoint for Hickman's run. The run seems to be coming to an end at issue, 24 or so. So we got about, one volume left, I believe? Then Maker returns or something, like, I don't know. But we're heading towards the finale. There's not a whole lot of time left unless somebody takes over and then, this just keeps going on and on. But presuming it's going to coming to an end, it's starting to be a little worrisome. So Volume 3 begins with issue 13 and 14. Kraven has captured Peter and Harry, and we get our first taste of real stakes. Kraven's Hunt is a great 2-issue story. I'm really into it. I really like it. We get Harry and Peter showing off their characters under pressure. It all culminates with Kraven shooting Harry straight in the head. I think it's a great start to the volume. Unfortunately, it is followed by what I think might be the worst issue of the series so far. Peter returns to his family. All their identities are now revealed to the worldwide conspiracy, Kingpin and the gang, so they run. In this issue, we follow them in hiding. Peter comes across Sandman. We find out Sandman is an experiment by the Maker and he's kept prisoner here, chucked away like garbage or something, and Peter frees Sandman, and Sandman promises to make it up one day. It's kind of a side story. It really is just this kind of like everything stops to show off Sandman, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like Sandman will return, so I'm certain it will matter, but it's another issue fully that they could do a kind of a single real story beat. The issue has kind of two other things it kind of wants you to notice. One is Richard. He's growing into a more competent Spider-Man with more experience under his name. Cool. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really care about Richard all that much. I'm not super attached to him, so yeah, whatever. He's still growing. Maybe he'll go somewhere interesting. And the other is Peter. He has lost his friend. He was tortured and kept prisoner for a month. This is the perfect issue to show the effect that has had on Peter, and nothing. It's really relegated to this low moment. Like, this is pretty much all there is, and it is very disappointing. Like, there is you can kind of read it that maybe it's under the surface, but there's no strong symbolism that really works for it. It is something where it's like, I just don't feel the stress. That's a major failure. And the lack of character growth really damages the book for me. Now, this Peter Parker has been super nice, Peter. A trope I don't really like, but, it kind of works better for a middle-aged Peter Parker who has already lived and learned. He thrusts himself into the Spider-Man role, which, it is selfish and will bring consequences to his family. So ultimately, I think this is acceptable take on Peter, who does have that selfishness in there, even if he is kind of nice. He's one of the better nice Peters, I think. He doesn't just want to save the world. He wants to matter. And, it's a subtle difference, but it is a better take on that kind of thing. Peter should be a very different man now that he has really felt what he's up against. Like, dude, your family's on the line. Where's the emotion? It's like, where's the conflict? Like, Peter should be feeling guilty for not saving Harry. The Peter Parker I know from 616 would be angry. He should be determined to take down the threat that looms over his family. He brought his family into this. He joined in, and he's the reason this is happening. And yet it doesn't really feel like it's a big thing for him. It's weirdly like just, it lacks emotion. It's weirdly cold. And then there's MJ. MJ has been super supportive throughout Ultimate Spider-Man. I love this, and because I'm extremely tired of 616 style of writing. I think everyone is. This MJ has been a much needed break from that. This MJ has voiced her discontent towards Peter, I believe, but she has never really acted upon it. She came across to me like she was swallowing her doubts or frustrations. I think, that's fine. That's what humans do. That's what a lot of times you do in a relationship. You like, hey, come up and being like, hey, I don't like this, but, I support you, but it isn't, I don't know about it. It's like there's for some, I'm not so 100% on it. I think that's very real well handling it. I figured all of that bottled up emotion would eventually kind of come out and become relevant. But again, this is the issue where you'd think that would happen, but it just kind of doesn't come up. Harry is dead. Parkers are on the run. Her life is ruined. Her kids might die. And yet she doesn't really have that much of a reaction. Like, again, where's the emotion? It's just so cold. I think this should have been the best character issue of the run. There's so much here. This is the big one. 12 issues of Happy Life. This is the payoff. Where is it? This is such a failure to deliver on the drama that it makes me kind of worried for the rest of the series. Like, if the protagonist doesn't get his payoff, like, who will? Like, it's like, like, what are we waiting for? Like, what else are we building up to? Like, sure, there's going to be more plot. There's going to be other things happening. I'm sure Venom will pop up. You're going to have the big showdown and all of this kind of stuff. But as a character beat, like, this is a major character beat. Like, there is no later. This is it. And the fact that it isn't here and it is this underwhelming, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, that's like starting to be like, I'm starting to doubt the plan a lot more. Where it's like, oh, this is, I think, a straight up a miss. This issue is followed up by a big payoff issue. Issue 16 is a flashback issue revealing everything about Mysterio. Mysterio is revealed to be an organization of 5 mages who can do real magic, no special effects here. Captain Stacy was one of these Mysterios, but he died earlier in the Maker explosion, so that title of Mysterio has been passed down to his daughter, Gwen. Mysterios have infiltrated the cast all over. Robertson at Daily Bugle is a Mysterio. Wesley, Kingpin's right-hand man, is Mysterio. One of them is Quentin Beck, which is kind of cool. During Stern or Menlo, around there, I think it might be in a spectacular Spider-Man issue, but eventually Mysterio is revealed that he actually has a crew. He does work with other people. He's the only Mysterio, but other people help make the special effects come to life. So that's kind of cool to see. There is a 5th secret member who is unnamed in these issues, but this person looks suspiciously like Vanessa Fisk, so that connects to Kingpin because Vanessa is Kingpin's wife, so, that seems to be a thing. I don't know. I guess Kingpin really pissed off all the Mysterios here, since they're all gathering up around him. Harry's death is revealed to have been an illusion during the previous issue, and Harry's actually alive. I think 16 is a great issue, although it is another issue fully dedicated to side characters. There's a very weird, even though this is a ensemble cast, it's a weirdly limited perspective in a lot of issues. Like, I don't hate ensemble stories. I love them. I love my Endor and whatnot, but I think the pacing in this one just doesn't quite work overall. Constantly holding the story to show just a single point of view in time makes the story feel a little uneven. It probably won't be a problem reading in trade, but in reading in release, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Every time I realize, like, oh no, nothing is progressing. We're just doing one single side story or going over previous events or going through all the information. It's just not working for me. I'm always a little disappointed when that happens. This is kind of a general critique of Ultimate Spider-Man. This one issue, like, that point of view works well. Then you have issue 17, and again, it's kind of slow, not much happening. And Gwen and Harry attack, I believe it's Negative Man openly. Why would you reveal yourself? Like, they think you're dead. Why would you reveal yourself? That feels a little silly. Then there's the final issue, which is issue 18, Return to New York. I don't know. Peter didn't feel really stressed in the previous issue, so, I don't know. His happiness here feels a little hollow for me. It just doesn't really land. Issue 1 will always be one of my absolute favorite moments in Spider-Man. I adore that issue, and I do think it's a good comic book. It's just, it might not be the all-time great if it doesn't stick the landing. It's the people that is failing it, and ultimately, the series really tries to focus on people, but it's kind of failing to really portray emotions like healthy relationship. Loved it. By this point, there should be just so much more stress to them, and it's just, they just take it really, really well. I don't know what to say. These issues, but honestly the entire series, has a huge focus on Harry and Gwen, and they are far more developed than Peter and MJ are, which is a little odd, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That's weirdly common in fiction. Bad guys tend to be more flawed, that's more interesting. Here, because Peter should be, there's no reason why he isn't more developed. A little stagnant character. Harry is the character who's constantly changing, constantly going through changes. We're always changing our kind of mind on him. Like, do we trust him? Do we not? Where is he standing? Where is he not? What is his moral line? Is he willing to sacrifice Peter? Or maybe he's not willing to sacrifice Peter. Who knows? We'll see, if he's actually going to become more heroic. Peter and MJ could match that. I would be fine with it. But because they cannot, they just feel underrated. They feel like almost there isn't as much interest in them. Harry is the one that Hickman seems to have spent most of the time thinking about, because Harry and Gwen are part of the big conspiracy, and that's where his interest lies. Now, the big finale is we return to Richard. He goes off, to see Black Cat because they have a romance, going on apparently. And, Richard gets ambushed by Kingpin because Richard is an idiot. He's a teenager and an idiot. This sets the stage, presumably, for him to, get mad, get angry, and the Pyko suit, which is looking like a symbiote suit, probably is going to turn into a Venom. So we're going to go heading towards Ultimate Venom. And I'm very curious to see where it all goes. I'm going to move on to the next issue, issue 19, which is not included in volume 3. So I don't know if there's somebody reading through trade paperback, the spoilers for the next issue. I recorded this video before issue 19 dropped. I don't know, just didn't feel like putting it out. I guess I will now add this little section in at the end. Yeah, we got our Ultimate Venom. Looks really good. I really like the Venom design here. He's massive and much more beast-like, and one of the interesting things is that he doesn't really seem to have the tongue he normally has, so it's more reminiscent almost in a sense of McFarlane's original design, where he didn't originally have a tongue. That tongue took about maybe 3 or 4 appearances, 3 or 4 issues to actually start popping in. It is something where it's like, this is more tongueless Venom, and it looks really good. I love how much of a beast he is, this protecting his child kind of monster, what you're willing to do for your kids. Really cool. I really love that design. Looks fantastic. I really like the Beast Venom. Although I have to criticize the fact that it's like, we did get our action scene, and it is really amazing scene, but it's a flashback for some reason. It's like, this is a month after this scene, and this is just Richard thinking back to it. You don't get the full scene, and I get it. Like, sometimes monsters should be off screen and, let your imagination do the work, but it is very disappointing. Like, again, I feel like this should be a payoff, and it just feels like it's left halfway there. It's like, I don't know, like, can't you give me a little bit of a chase scene with Kingpin? He jumps on his car, rips off a rooftop or something. Give me more. I feel like I needed more. It's a very disappointing after so much build up. A flashback that leaves it to your imagination isn't the most satisfying payoff I've ever experienced in my life, and that's very frustrating. These payoffs just aren't, I feel like, quite enough. I need more. I don't want to go back to building up. These are the payoffs, not the setups, and I find that incredibly frustrating, even here. It seems to me that we're kind of building up, interestingly, kind of a Sinister Six kind of thing. If you didn't know, in the Ultimate Universe, the original one, Sinister Six was called actually Ultimate Six. And Ultimate Six was a very interesting take on the Sinister Six, as one of the members was actually Peter Parker. Spider-Man was part of Sinister Six. He was kind of forced into, manipulated into becoming part of the supervillain team, but it's a whole thing. It's a good story. It seems to be we're actually doing that. We got Mole Man, like he is kind of like, seems to be more sympathetic. You got Harry, the Green Goblin, you got Mysterio, you got Peter, you got Venom now. Maybe I'm missing somebody. I'm going off the top of my head, but it seems we're getting an Ultimate Six going against possibly a Sinister Six, Kingpin and the gang. That seems kind of cool, face off the Sinister Sixes. We in fact have so many villains that it makes me wonder if Richard, Venom, and Black Cat, do they end up on the other side somehow, or can they be manipulated to that, something like that? That could be very dramatic. And it's cool. It's very interesting to see all these loyalties shift. There's this scene where Peter Parker returns to his old home and he finds Mole Man there, and they have a little conversation. Peter says something like he won't cross certain lines, and Mole Man is like, are you sure? The stuff you went through with Kraven is kind of messed up. And Peter looks angry. It's a great moment. You see a little bit of that resentment, that anger is there. Again, it's not much. It's like a single page. It's really underwritten, but at least it's something there addressing my concerns a little bit. So I appreciate that. And I do love this panel. There's this panel of Peter Parker touching, the kids have their heights being marked on the walls he's touching. It's a beautiful visual showing where his thoughts and his heart lies. MJ opens up to Peter, and it's like, again, you can kind of start to see that stress get to them. So again, that's really great. This issue is actually addressing a lot of my complaints that I was making before I read this issue, but it does not change the fact that this conversation should have happened earlier. It's weirdly late, and I don't think there's a whole lot of time to actually get all of this done. There's not a whole lot of time to make all of this impactful. Like, does this lead to anything? Does MJ take actions that affect the plot, affect Peter in a way that makes this feel real? Or is this just lip service to drama? Is this just pretending that there's something going on underneath the surface? MJ does now apparently know everything about the Maker and the gang. I thought she already knew. Like, I don't know if I'm stupid, but I already thought she knew all about the Maker. But hey, you know, at least Peter is telling her presumably everything now. So again, it's like she might partake in the plot, but I really wish we saw more of that internal crisis going on, that stress. Issue 19, really fantastic. I really like it. I think it's one of the better issues, and after Volume 3, I think Volume 3 is massively disappointing. It has Kraven arc, which is fantastic, might be the best of this entire series, and then like Mysterio issue was really good, rest of it was massively disappointing. This is back to the really good stuff. I love seeing a good Ultimate Spider-Man issue, what can I say? I'm very excited to see the finale. I'm still with it, I'm still really loving it, I'm still having a tons of fun, but the cracks are starting to show.